It's not uncommon to live paycheck to paycheck in the United States. As a matter of fact, it is estimated that 78% of all Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Now, to me, that's a staggering number. Many people think that if they just made more money, that somehow their financial problems would go away. Now, there may be a little bit of truth to that statement, but however, I don't think it addresses the underlying issue, which is how do you manage your money effectively in order to escape the paycheck to paycheck cycle. In today's video, I'm going to be diving into a topic that's not only practical, but it can help to lay the groundwork to get you on track financially. I'll be walking through how I would budget a $4,000 a month salary as a single person living in the United States. Now, please note that some of the estimates that I'm using for the purposes of this example may not be applicable to people that live in more expensive areas such as Los Angeles, San Francisco, Miami, or New York City. With that said, you could still utilize this video as a guideline to help you with your long-term financial planning. When it comes to creating a budget, it is essential that you track every dollar that you spend for the month. And there are several ways that you can do this. You can go old school and write it down on a pen and paper, or you can use one of the hundreds of free budgeting apps that are out there. For the purposes of this video, I'm gonna be using Dave Ramsey's Every Dollar app. It's a free app that's in the App Store that you can download. But like I said, there are hundreds of free apps out there that you can find to create your monthly budgets that'll help keep you on track. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in and start creating this budget. So the very first thing that we're gonna wanna do is we are going to want to pay ourselves first. So whenever we get paid, we wanna make sure that we're allocating 5% of our monthly take-home pay to our Pay Yourself First fund. So if we are assuming that we are getting paid twice a month at $2,000 per paycheck, we're going to be allocating $100 from each of those paychecks into our Pay Yourself First fund. Now, this is extremely important that you do not skip this step whenever you're budgeting, because we are just starting out with creating our budget and getting ourselves on track financially, but we don't want to forget to invest in our personal and professional development. The money that we're setting aside each month could be used for many different things that can help with your personal and professional development. You can use this money to purchase books. You can use this money to enroll in a class that will allow you to get a certification, that will allow you to get a promotion at your current job, or you can enroll in a class that will allow you to get a certification to get a new job in a different field. Whatever you decide to do, this money is meant to go towards your personal and professional development. And if you are not actively paying yourself first, you are doing yourself a disservice. The next thing that we're gonna budget for is we're gonna budget for savings. So if you're just now getting serious about saving, and you're looking to get your financial house in order, you're gonna wanna allocate 10% of your monthly take-home pay into a high yield savings account. And based on our take-home pay and the amount of $4,000 a month, we are going to allocate $400 a month into a high yield savings account. And we're gonna continue to put money into this account until we have roughly 3 to 6 months of our monthly expenses saved in a high yield savings account. Now, many people will refer to this as an emergency fund. You can call it whatever you want, but you want to make sure that you have enough money inside of an account so if something were to happen, you will have enough money to pay for it. So if you need new tires for your car, or if you have to go to the doctor, or you have an unexpected bill that comes up, you're not going to have to borrow money or use a credit card in order to get what you need. Now, the standard for an emergency account or savings account is roughly 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses, but this is going to be based on your risk tolerance. So for me, I typically keep about 3 months worth of monthly expenses inside a high yield savings account. And I can't think of off the top of my head of any time where I've needed quick access to cash that would have been greater than what I had inside my emergency fund. The amount of money that you have inside of your emergency fund is going to be based purely on your risk tolerance. So we've paid ourselves first, and we have allocated 10% of our monthly take-home pay into our savings/emergency fund. The next thing that we need to do is we need to account for our living expenses. I did some research, and the average cost of a 1-bedroom apartment in the United States is around $1,200 a month. Now, I know for some people that number may be extremely low, and for some people that number may be extremely high. But again, for the purposes of this video, I'm gonna go with $1,200 a month. We also need to make sure that we're accounting for utilities as well. And I'm going to estimate the utilities for a one-bedroom apartment to be roughly $200 a month, bringing our monthly living expenses to $1,400. So if you add the $1,400 from our living expenses to the $400 that we're setting aside each month to build up our emergency fund, and then the additional $200 from our pay yourself fund, we have utilized roughly $2,000 of our $4,000 a month take-home pay. So the next category that we will budget for is for transportation. Now, the average used car payment in the United States is $530 a month. I always tried to keep my car payments to no more than 10% of my monthly take-home pay. And for the purposes of our example, we're gonna be looking to stay under $400 a month for our car payment. But we are now being much more conscientious of how and where we're spending our money every single month. So we're gonna search for a car payment that's actually $300 a month and not $400 a month. And yes, I know this is not gonna be enough money for you to drive a 2022 model BMW, but we're trying to get our financial house in order, right? So if you are now just starting to get on track financially and you have a car payment that is more than 10% of your monthly take-home pay, then I suggest that you get rid of it. Most people don't wanna do that. Most people would not want to get rid of the car that they're driving and downgrade into a different type of vehicle. But one thing that I was told from one of my mentors a long time ago is that sometimes you have to take a step back or a step sideways in order to move forward. So if we're looking to get our financial house in order, we need to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to get our spending under control. So we have $300 allocated to our car payment, but we need to make sure that we're accounting for gas for your car and also for insurance. And we'll estimate those to be at $125 for each, bringing our monthly total for transportation to $550. So if we take that $550 and we subtract that from the remaining budget that we have for that month, that leaves us with $1,450 left to allocate. The next thing that we need to make sure that we budget for is for groceries. I'm a big fan of eating in versus going out to eat. It's a healthier option and obviously it's a cheaper option. If you're someone that likes to go out to eat, I think that's fine. You can account for that later on in your budget. But you should consider cutting back for a few months just until you get yourself back on track financially. In the meantime, you should be shopping at the grocery store in order to save money. And for the purposes of our budget, we're going to be allocating $400 a month towards groceries. If you're getting some value from this video, consider subscribing, and while you're at it, hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. The next thing that we'll include in our budget is a miscellaneous/fun bucket. And we're going to allocate $350 a month into this category every single month. Now, this money could be utilized for gym memberships, going out to buy clothes, going out to eat, or just having fun in general. Now, I know this isn't a lot of money, but you're just cutting back for a season. This is not something that you have to maintain forever. You'll be amazed how far your money actually goes whenever you're not spending it on things that you don't even need. So we've made it through the entire month and we still have $700 left in our budget to allocate. And we're gonna allocate this money to any type of debts that you have. So if you have student loans or credit cards or any type of consumer debt, you're gonna wanna utilize this money every single month to pay down that debt. And once you've saved up 3 to 6 months worth of monthly expenses in your emergency/savings fund, you'll then take that $400 a month that you're allocating to that fund and you will add it to any debts that you need to pay down, which would mean that the total monthly amount that you have allocated to pay down your debts will go from $700 a month up to $1,100 a month. And that is how you supercharge the debt pay down process of your budget. And once you pay off all of your debts that you have, you'll then have an additional $1,100 a month that you can utilize for investing. You can use that for going on vacation, going out to eat, whatever you want to do, you can allocate it to different portions of your budget to ensure that you'll be able to enjoy your life that much more. So now you have a solid budget blueprint that you can implement, but we could take this a step further that will allow you to get to your goals much faster by adding in a side hustle or a second job. There are tons of side hustles that you can do from home that will allow you to make a little bit of extra money every single month. Now, if you're not interested in starting a side hustle, you can consider picking up more hours at your current job or getting a second job that will allow you to work an additional 5 to 10 hours a week. So that's how I would budget $4,000 a month that would allow me to live somewhat comfortably while being able to pay down debt that will ultimately then allow me to get my financial house in order. If you like this content, make sure you check out the next video.